I don't like it here. It's a very small town, very small-minded. They're saying around here is we never did it that way before. If they did it 50 years ago, that's how they're still doing it now. They're not open to new ideas, very small-minded, I think. They don't invite you in if you don't agree with their ideas. They don't invite you to be a part of things. You're kind of kept at a distance, I don't know. Steve was a police officer.
A little over 25 years. You can retire after 20 years service, and I already had over 25 years. Over 25 years I did everything. You know, I did squad cars, I did wagons, I did ambulances, did detective work, did drug work. I was a Marine for 4 years and a police officer for 25 years, and I really don't feel like doing law enforcement anymore.
It's depressing.
No, it's not depressing. I enjoy my work. It was fun. Actually, I miss it sometimes. I liked the adrenaline rush, the excitement. And also I liked making a small difference, helping some people out. When you're involved in police work, you're either dealing with the underbelly of society, your criminals, or people that have been just victimized. So you don't really get a good, clear look at America in general. You're seeing the bad guys and the victims of the bad guys. I believe we're as happy as anywhere else, you know.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do.
I think nowadays raising a family in the United States is horrible. Things are just so hard. Don't you think? Prices are ridiculous, and you know, just all the pressure that you face every day taking care of kids. Like I said, insurance is outrageous. I mean, it puts a lot of pressure on young families nowadays to try to just every day raise your kids. You know, try get them to college is almost impossible anymore. When they do get to college, they come out of college with such debt. They never recover from the debt. And crime's so high, and they say, why crime's so high? I said, people can't afford things.
Crime's high because people are greedy. Because I grew up poor, and I'm not a criminal. They want more, and they want it now, and they don't want to work for it.
Right.
You know, I've arrested drug dealers that have a welfare card in their pocket. You know, the welfare card is public assistance, and they also have $4,000 in cash in their pocket from their drug sales.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I had my troubles when I was a young man, but I learned from them. You know, you learn from your mistakes, and you decide which path you're going to take. I also had, you know, a good upbringing. You know, my mother was a good moral woman, and she let you know what was right and what was wrong. And like I said, I got in some trouble, and I could have went down the wrong way, but it was a wake-up call. It was like, either straighten yourself out or end up in prison. So I decided to go a different route and make a life for myself. Got in a lot of fights, and a few altercations with the law. Nothing major that I'd like to speak about, but you know, when you're a young man, 16, 17, sometimes you don't think all that clearly. When I was a kid, there was, like, you're not from this country, like gangs. Certain gangs had this territory, certain gangs had this territory. We'd try to date girls from, say, Mount Washington, and the Mount Washington boys wouldn't like that, so they'd come and fight us, and you know, it was just, you know, fists and stuff. It wasn't like we were shooting each other or anything. Now most of your territory is just over who's going to sell the drugs in that territory. That's why they're shooting each other.
There's a lot of, I think, crystal meth. There's a lot of labs around here. They're down over the hill. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff.
I voted for Bush. He's got a tough job. He's doing his job. I have nothing bad to say about the man.
I think he's not in our shoes either, though. I mean, I think he came from a very wealthy family, and he's so out of touch with reality to what people need. When I hear him talk on TV, I think, you're ridiculous. You know, why don't you give up some of your luxuries and come down and live in the real world and see how hard it is for people nowadays, and you just keep taking more and more and more from people. I think that he's a horrible president. I think Bill Clinton was a very good president. I know a lot of people don't like Hillary Clinton, but I think when Bill Clinton was president and people say she was the one that wore the pants, I thought good for her. So I think I'll vote for her in this election. I just think George Bush is so out of touch. He doesn't have any idea, and I think he's destroyed our nation.
I didn't like Clinton. He was stupid enough to get caught doing something and stupid enough to lie and get caught lying at it.
Well, Clinton had an affair. This guy killed how many people? I mean, and I think, and that's what I said to him, I think because I have children,
Right.
I look at them
He didn't
different.
kill anyone, Susan.
Well,
you may not agree with
he sent young innocent
his directions. All right, yeah, well, people in the military die. People just die all the time. It's not he's killing them. He just sent them.
I mean,
You know, soldiers die. That's their job.
I think it just bothers me that we have people laying in the streets in the United States of America that have put their life on the line for the government, and why is that? I can't find a good answer for that. I mean, they gave their legs, their limbs, their lives. Why? There was an argument about whether you should be forced to or not. They forced them in the school to say the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States, the flag. Not that I disagree that you shouldn't. That's your choice, though. I don't understand why you should be forced to do that. And one lady said, then you need to live in another country. I said, well, isn't that why we have freedoms in this country to make those choices? I respect the flag, and I understand why, but I don't feel it's my place to force somebody to stand. And I don't like the fact that they force my children to say Pledge Allegiance. You shouldn't have somebody tell you that you have to believe in a certain
So I don't have
thing.
to do my spelling words?
I remember in church one day they told me all Jewish people were going to hell. And I said, oh, really? Okay. I understand why you're saying that, but they basically said if you don't believe in Jesus Christ and God and the way that we say the Bible, then, you know, I said, well, I don't really understand a lot about other people's religions, but I respect the fact that that's what they believe.
do you believe in God?
Yes, I do. See, I don't think you have to go to a church to worship God.
Don't either.
You can just talk to Him.
We don't go to church anymore. I'm more like him. I believe in God. I talk to God. I have faith in God. I trust God. But I don't want anything to do with the church. We went to New York City to work with homeless people. When we got there, we were scheduled to go to Rockefeller Center. We were scheduled to go to the Radio City Music Hall. We went to the last place, well, the place they took me to was Jerry's Deli in Brooklyn. And they took us there. I said, where are we going? And they said, we are going to this deli. And they started talking about celebrities and the famous people you would see there. And I said, I'm not going there. And they got my pastor got very mad. She said, you are going in there. And I said, no, I am not going in there. I said, I came to work with homeless people. I didn't come to eat cheesecake. They said that it was world famous cheesecake and continued. And I said, I won't go. And she said, you will go? I said, no, I will not go. I said, I will sit right here on the curb. I said, I'm embarrassed that you're behaving. They went inside there and ate $9. This cheesecake that cost $9 a piece, I did not go. She got very mad at me and she said, you know, you're an embarrassment to us. I said, you're an embarrassment to me. I came to work with people who needed me. I didn't come up here to do a tour of, you know, New York City. I said, this is more like a Christmas extravaganza. You didn't come here to work and help homeless people. You came here to see the sights. And I'm disgusted by it. She got very mad at me. She threw me out. She made me leave. My pastor. She made me leave. She threw me and my niece out and told us to leave. We had to take a bus home from New York City. This is my church, my wonderful church. And then my pastor went around and told people I had the devil in me, that I was demonic. I said, why am I demonic? I was demonic. I said, demonic? I said, that means that you're possessed by the devil. I don't believe I'm possessed by the devil. I think you're full of crap, lady. And she's a female. Yeah, that's what they told everybody because I didn't conform to their way of thinking. And I said, oh, well, I guess that I am. Wrong hand, Sam. Is that right? No, it's the right hand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't even know. See?
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.